Now, the rest of the story.
I keep offering to put the 40-20 on this rhino rake, but Dad just doesn't really seem too into it. So this is my second cut canary down here at the valley. He's been raking for about 30 minutes, and with that rake opened up all the way, it's making some nice tight windrows. This is the beautiful stuff. This is the stuff that nobody wants, the first cut stuff. They want the second cut stuff, and I mean, it's hardly any stems, and it's more plant matter, all the leaves. And but what I'm going to do, because they are calling for rain tomorrow night now, the plan was to actually come down tomorrow and rake and bale, but it's thin enough and it's been hot and miserable enough. I did push this stuff along. I checked everything from the east side of the farm this way, and the only thing that's a little sketchy is the lower bottom, because it has along the hillsides and then down at the lower end, that whole hillside, the sun hasn't even begun to hit the outside 30 feet, and it's tough yet. And that's what we're seeing here, wherever that went. For being flipped over not very long, but he is bringing up some green. It's green, but it's not tough. So if we let that go for another hour or two with how the weather's playing out, we'll get this stuff made. Send that Ryan down with the 82 and the 569. Turn the ejector onto the baler right here. This is the stuff I'm worried about, and it's really not even damp. It's just green. So we let that bake for an hour or two, and we'll get all these bales rolled up, let them sit outside a couple feet apart, air out, and this is going to be my cow's feed for the winter. So we got most of the lower bottom, or I'm sorry, the bench ground. We got probably about 2/3 of that cut. It looks impressive from a distance because he did that one pass around there, but he'll probably get 1/3 of a bale, maybe half of a bale off of that one pass. So it's whatever. We'll get it made, get it hauled in. They're calling for more chances of rain. This is what I was concerned about, is right there. That's actually got water sitting on it yet, so the sun and the light breeze will bake that out. And I'm cautiously optimistic that my cows will be living the high life this winter, because this is, I mean, who wouldn't want to eat that? So I'd have a little bit less of this if I could have made this tomorrow. But I'm also concerned, very concerned, that what we're going to be looking at is, yeah, let the sun do its job. It ain't going to take very long to do this, especially if we get both balers down here and just burn through it. So maybe get 20 bales off of this piece. We'll see. But I don't know. A change in priorities. I got to start giving my cows, I want to start giving my cows the higher quality stuff, because the cattle are worth more than just trying to sell it. So plus it gives my kids some good chores to build character. Oh well, I'll catch up with you. What do we have sitting here? Two very different balers. This one is superior in the net wrap department. The 566 it performs a lot better than the 535 did. The 535, the net wrap absolutely loved wrapping on this upper roll. Baby powder, talcum powder, was the common fix to that. I know I've had a lot of people really question me. It's like, are you okay? I mean, did the monsters coming out at night? And no, it actually does make sense, because the powder actually smooths these rolls up, and it makes them less apt to hold on to the net wrap as it's coming around. This one with the rubber rollers, you always have to be careful that you don't nick the rollers with your knife, because all it takes is a little gash or whatever, and guaranteed to catch your net wrap. Now what we're looking at is hopefully the last of the net wrap we're going to need for the year. It's 222, which is Dad, Ryan, and me. And what are we sitting on? That is the spare roll that we had for off of this pallet. And this is still Dad and Ryan's roll, because they were sharing net wrap here. At least that's what they were running off of. So I'm going to pull those out, throw a new roll in both these balers, and then cross our fingers and hope that we end up with a lot of round bales. 2 rolls, these for myself with what we got to make for grass. I do have a partial roll over there. Kind of aiming that this is going to be all I'll need for net wrap this year, because once we get done making these waterways and such, that's probably me lying to myself, because for corn fodder I'll be using a lot of net wrap, because it's 4 wraps on that fodder to make sure that the bales actually stay together. It might take me maybe 1 more roll and get our bedding put together. But with it being so hot and dry for the most part, I'm giving the grass plenty of time to do what it wants to do. And then, oh, I forgot to engage the ejector on this, because I get a lot of flack for not using the bale injector, because you got it, why don't you use it? Well, I don't use it because we'll have round bales in the next county if we're not careful. But down at the valley, where it is, you know, level kind of, I'm giving you guys motion sickness. I don't mean to do that too much. So what that's going to do, I got to do it on the other side. When the end gate opens up, the end gate will open up first. Then once this chain gets to the end of its movement, it'll pull this bar out and throw the bale away from the baler. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining that, oh, I got this ejector but can't. It's just, it's practical usage. Up on, I'd say, our rolling ground, it is a very big concern. I almost sent, the first year with this baler, I almost sent a bale down across 2 neighbors' places with one bale through, it would have been 2 different neighbors, and I ended up catching it with the front tire of the tractor. So I mean, yeah, you got to be careful of what you're doing. I mean, we're not flat by any means, and I know any of you new viewers will hear me say it. Haven't heard me say it, but our ground down at the valley, or in the bottom ground, which bottom ground in general is fairly level, it's the levelest ground we got, so I can get away with it. But I also have some of the hilliest ground that we run down there too. Do you guys see where that washer went? So it's whatever. I like running it. I mean, maybe I'll try to run a little bit on the corn fodder, but again, even last year running it on the corn fodder, more or less worried about the net wrap getting tore up with those bales rolling very far across those stalks. So more or less, I'll get these guys ready to go. I'm gonna drop the feed mill off and actually go rake a triangle acre of alfalfa. So that'll be done, and I'm probably just gonna say that's the end of it. Let's get going. I think disappointing is the word for the day. I thought this would have yielded a little bit better than what it has. I'm guessing we'll be somewhere under 100. Of course, we're not completely done yet. I got the lower bottom to do yet, which will be waiting until tomorrow. And I got 2 waterways that need to be made yet that also were too tough to rake today. But we're getting the upper bottom done, the bench, the pasture, the old pasture. But I'm running into some issues with the 566. This baler does not like fine material. So I'm actually running around trying to find some of the coarser stuff to help get a core started. Once you actually get half your bale going, then it'll take in that finer stuff. But it seems like it's working just fine, then it just hits me all at once. It just wants to, what it wants to do is it gets that fine material, and instead of shoving it up into the bale, it shoves it up on the front of the belts here above the pickup, and then it gets hung up above the compression springs, and then I got to dig it out. And depending on how bad it's plugged, it takes you more than 5 minutes to do it. Running 2 balers I think is the way to go, because it was so wet this morning. We started baling about 2 o'clock, and it being only 5 o'clock now, we don't have a whole lot more to do. And then I bring the New Holland down, because I'll have to rake those waterways with the New Holland. And the 4020, it won't take very long to finish raking what the Rhino rake needs to do. And maybe 70, 80 bales down here. See, I'm only sitting at 15. Ryan is sitting, I know he's probably pushing 30. So if we end about 50 tonight, yeah, 70, 80 bales. That's not really a big train wreck for me, because I'm already sitting over 600 bales. And any of this stuff was going to be cow feed anyway. All it means is, with what I have right now for feed, dedicated for feed, I'm sitting at right about 100. So whatever this stuff adds to it, and then I might have to keep a little bit of first crop, but I don't think that's really going to amount to much, because we got, I'm going to say it might surprise me yet, because we got a lot of odds and ends. We got the hillside, the lower bottom, then the lower bottom, waterways. Those might be good for maybe 10 bales. So yeah, say the 2024 hay season is a season that keeps on giving, because it most certainly felt like we were trying to make hay all summer, and now that we should be done by tomorrow, and I'm ready to be done making hay. I really am. All this stuff, it's really fine, but the quality is there. We're going to be pulling some samples on all this hay to see where we're at protein wise, because all this is going to my cows. And one thing that we struggle with, all the bales are kind of wonky. Not all of them, but this stuff compresses so weird. And unless you're really running the steering wheel back and forth, it doesn't take very long, and the bales are kind of not outright lopsided, but I'd say they're more uneven looking across the top of them. I'd say look forward to the last haymaking video, and yeah, see, she's already starting to plug up on me. Get done with hay tomorrow, and that kind of opens the door for very seriously looking at harvest. The chances of rain that they're coming for with the next few days give me a chance to finish up some wrenching on going over some machinery maintenance. And we've already been dry for how long? At this point, I'd rather it just stays dry and lets us get everything done in a timely manner. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.